Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on July 14th, 2019. We call it Prime Day Eve. This is episode 1609. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. Thinking about moving your data storage to the cloud? Wasabi is enterprise-grade cloud storage at 1/5 the price of Amazon S3 and up to 6 times faster, with no hidden fees for egress or API requests. Calculate your savings and try Wasabi with free unlimited storage for a month at wasabi.com. Code TWIT. And by Ahrefs. Ahrefs. Whether you work for a big brand, run your own small business, or do freelance work, getting traffic to your website is always a challenge. Ahrefs is an all-in-one SEO toolset that's here to help and give you the tools you need to rank your website in Google. For a free 7-day trial for only $7, go to ahrefs.com to sign up. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Yeah, it's time to talk tech, computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography. We've got your smartphones, we've got your smart watches, we got all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number, 888-827-5536. That's toll-free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada outside that area. You could still call, but you have to use Skype out or something like that. 8888 Ask Leo. We have a website I should remind you of because it's free and it's always there 7 days a week, even when the tech guy's not. So if you hear something on the show and you go, what was that? You don't have to write it down. You don't have to make a note of it. Just go to the website. This is what you should make a note of, techguylabs.com. No sign up, no charge. It's just there as a reference to things you hear on the show today. This was the day this was the week, Facebook got a $5 billion fine from the FTC. The fine was announced on Friday, and Facebook's stock, what do you think? $5 billion, largest fine in the history of the Federal Trade Commission, $5 billion. And the Facebook stock went up $6 billion. Mark Zuckerberg got fined $5 billion and made more money. See, so here's what Facebook failed to do. They were under a consent decree. You know, the companies that are under consent decrees with the FTC say, yes, okay, we will never do that again. And in order, to avoid future prosecution, we agree to do this and that. Protect people's privacy. This consent decree was in 2011. Facebook promptly ignored it, went on doing everything it wanted to do. And finally, the FTC said, well, hold on there. Facebook will, of course, pay $5 billion. They already knew they were going to get a fine something around there. They announced that in their quarterly earnings a month ago. I thought, wow, $5 billion, the largest fine in the history of the Federal Trade Commission. That, even if you make, what's Facebook's profit? I think $22 billion a year. That's a quarter of your profits down the tubes. That's a big fine. Stock market, I guess, is the final arbiter of this, though. They rewarded Facebook with a big $6 billion bump. And already members of Congress are saying that the FTC gave Facebook a Christmas present. They failed miserably. It's historically hollow. The largest fine in the history of FTC. I don't know if you can fine Facebook or Google or Apple or Microsoft enough to make it really hurt. You'd have to, $5 billion is a lot, but if the stock market says, oh, here's $6 billion to make up for it, well, wow. Mark Zuckerberg's net worth goes up. The best punishment to Facebook is to just get off Facebook. Now, I know people tell me all the time, I can't get off Facebook. That's how I stay in touch with my mom, my sister, my uncle. That's how I keep up with my high school friends. Okay, I guess I get it. I got off it in August. And I don't miss it. I don't think anybody would actually miss Facebook. Surely there are other ways you can keep in touch with friends. Go to Google Photos and share some photos with them or something. My friend Mike Elgin is a tech journalist and travels around the world. He doesn't have a regular domicile. He's one of those people, he calls himself a digital nomad. He just always traveling. He and his wife Amira always traveling around. He got off Facebook and he created something called Mike's Nice Book. It's a publicly shared album on Google. You don't have to have a Google account to view it. Anybody can join Mike's Nice Book. And he puts 10 pictures there every few days. And that's his Facebook. And you know what? It's great. I mean, do we really need Facebook? I feel like we could get away with something less or different or not. Well, to me, Facebook's not going to do anything as long as membership continues to go up. And you know where Facebook's membership is really going up is around the world, not in the U.S. so much. In the U.S., it's interesting. Young people, they're crazy. Boy, these young people. They don't want to be on Facebook. They say that's grandpa's social network, mom and dad's social network. I don't want to be where my parents hang. That's by definition not cool. So they use Snapchat. Actually, the hot thing now is a Chinese company, get ready for this, called TikTok. Yeah, it's out of China. I got nothing against China, but if you're worried about Facebook spying on you, I can promise you Chinese government's worse, right? The only reason they probably don't spy on us is because they don't care about us, but they certainly have, it's believed that, for instance, the Chinese government is behind a number of the biggest data breaches recently, including the Marriott breach, 500 million records. And the reason our intelligence agencies think that it probably was China is because those records, including credit card numbers and birth dates and all that stuff, have never appeared on the dark web for sale. Usually if bad guys breach a database, the information is sold. That's the incentive for, gangsters. If it's a nation state, well, they might have other incentives. And in this case, it's believed the Chinese government did it to A, keep an eye on Chinese dissidents and diplomats abroad, and B, you get all that information about who's checking in, what hotel, where, when. Might be useful too in other kinds of espionage. And the fingerprints of the hack seem to point back to the Chinese government. So, but they don't even need to break in now. They got TikTok. The big VidCon is going on. This is how you measure the success of TikTok, besides the fact that every American teenager is posting stuff on there. TikTok bought a company called Musical.ly that was also very popular and merged it together. As far as I can tell, having spent some time on TikTok, it's kind of, do you remember the 7-second videos that were like all the rage on the thing called Vine? And Vine made some superstars, like big stars that you and I never heard of, but ask your teenagers. So Vine got bought by Twitter and basically put out of business for reasons no one understands because it was doing fine, I think. Anyway, Vine's gone. TikTok comes along, Musical.ly comes along, 9-second videos or longer, I think, maybe now. People are doing, Musical.ly was all about lip syncing to music, but TikTok has become really basically a new version of Vine. TikTok, if you want to see where your kids are. Yeah, they're on Snapchat, but they like the Vine. So VidCon's going on. That it was created by the Green brothers as a celebration of YouTube stars and YouTube video makers and creators. But I'm told that VidCon, which is I think it just concluded in L.A., this year it was all the teenagers that were there to see their famous celebrities were all over the TikTok celebrities. TikTok's the next big thing. That's why I don't worry too much about any one platform getting dominant, Well, maybe Facebook is, but TikTok with the kids, TikTok. And Facebook can't buy TikTok because it's a Chinese company. And actually, I think the FTC is trying to limit TikTok as well. They don't have jurisdiction, but I think that the FTC fined him $5.7 million because they violated children's privacy. We have a law in the U.S. that kids 13 and under you can't collect, or actually it's under 13, you cannot collect information about them. It's called the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. So they violated CAPTCHA. They knew many children were using the app, but they didn't get parental consent before collecting names, email addresses, and other personal information of people under 13. So a $5.7 million, not billion, $1 million fine doesn't seem to have slowed them down at all. And after all, what are you going to, the internet's an international thing. What do you do if you're the FTC and it's a Chinese company and kids are using it? Do you block it at the borders? Do you build a digital wall? That's the kind of thing the Chinese government does. They call it the Great Firewall of China. If you're in China, you can't use Twitter or Facebook. Should we do the same? That creates something we call the splinter net, and I think we're headed that way, where you have a U.S. internet, a Chinese internet, a European internet, different internets, which kind of defeats the whole purpose. This is the world we live in. This is what we talk about every weekend. 8888 Ask Leo. The website, again, free and open to all. TechGuyLabs.com, and we'll go to the phones. Kim Schaffer's already answering the calls. The board is hot. They're lighting up. Let's talk high tech, you and me. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. I would love to talk to you about any of these news issues, about what's going on with your computers, anything you're curious about. Call me. She's unbreakable. She's unbreakable because she's taking your calls. The one and only Kimmy Schaffer. Kimmy don't take no Schaffer. Hello, Kimmy. Kimmy Schaffer. And good morning to you and the radio listening audience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Were you up late last night?
I was.
Okay.
My friend had a baby.
Oh, were you there?
No, I wasn't, but I was just...
You were following it on the Twitter?
Yeah, the group text.
Do people, okay.
It was just a group text.
It's group text? People aren't tweeting it or anything?
No. She has not Facebooked it. She has not Instagrammed it. No.
Yeah. My youngest was born 24 years ago. We didn't have the Twitter.
Oh, yeah, no.
We didn't have the Facebook. We barely had the Google. I don't even think we had the Google. I don't think we
had the Google 24 years ago.
94, no.
Nope.
Nope, the Google is 20 years old, though.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hard to believe, I know. I know.
Yeah, I had to go to a baby shower yesterday for a little boy that I used to take care of, who's now having a baby himself.
Ay, Volt. That's when you know you're old.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, you're not that old. You must have, that's crazy. You were a teenager when you babysat him.
When I started babysitting him, and I was 18.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. These things, math is hard for me.
But it is a trip to see little kids that you,
it's cool.
You getting married and having kids.
Yeah. Wait till you start seeing your friends die. That's what's fun. Yeah, that's fun.
I've seen my parents go through that.
Yeah, so. Yeah. As you get to a certain age, you start reading the obituaries with interest.
I always have. I'm kind of morbid that way.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Yeah, older people like to read the obits. Mm-hmm.
The Irish sports page, as they call it.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Holy cow! I'm going to remember that one. That's good.
Yeah, that's what it's called. The Irish sports.
The Irish sports. Who should? Oh wow. Who should I talk to first here?
Barry in Northridge.
All right. I love that. Hey, Barry, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thank you, Kim. What can we do for you, Barry?
Hi, Leo. Bought a QNAP NAS.
Yes.
And I had a previous model that was about 10 years old. Found that very easy to get used to. The new one, I am having difficulty getting used to and learning how to use it.
Do you think that's because you had one before? So let me just define some of those terms, because QNAP NAS, probably people listening go, he has a what? So QNAP is a company, QNAP, and a NAS is a network attached storage. What you should think of it as is a massive hard drive that's on your network. It's really a little computer. It doesn't have a keyboard or a mouse or monitor, but it's on your network, and people use it for a variety of things. You could put all your movies and TV shows and music on there, make it a media server. You could back up files to it. That's what I use my NAS for. It's nice to have a giant hard drive in the closet that's on the network, and you'll think of lots of ways to use it. And a lot of these NASs, QNAP is one of them. They're really Linux operating systems, and they can run software. They can be servers. They can do all sorts of things. So is part of this problem because you had one before and maybe they've changed how they do things, or you think it's just more difficult these days?
I think it's more complex now than the other one was. The operating system, which was again Linux based, was much easier to use 10 years ago than this one is now.
Yeah. So they're using their software hides Linux, of course. You get a web-based interface that lets you install programs, run programs, configure programs. Where's the confusion?
Well, it's just how to use it, how to use the apps that they have for it.
Right.
There's very, very little documentation for the app.
That's in general the issue with these NAS companies and these NAS programs. I think they kind of assume that you're an expert, right?
You know, and I installed the first IBM PCs at Cal State Northridge.
Oh, well, you are an expert.
In 1980.
Okay, so you are an expert, and you're still having a hard time. So I'm having
a hard time.
I can't pose as a QNAP expert because while I do recommend them, I think they're very good. I don't use them. I use the Synology, which is very similar. I think they're kind of comparable in capabilities.
Yeah, they are. Did you see the news this week about QNAP?
No.
There is a ransomware targeted at QNAP NASs.
Oh, isn't that nice? Yeah, I see on their website their response to this. Yeah, that's not surprising because when you're one of the leaders in a segment, and they are, if you think about it, they're running software. I'm sure Synology is constantly under attack as well. Did you get bit?
No, I am so careful about things, and as soon as I saw something, I made sure I was isolated from the internet as much as possible.
Good man. Yeah. So they say on their they're a Taiwanese company. They say they have a security advisory that they've published, and they do say there are things to do. It sounds like that while they don't have a fix, they have some proactive measures you can take to kind of reduce it. Yeah. Update QTS, of course, as always. And, I don't know about QNAP, but Synology always I set it to automatically update. I want it to do the same thing. They have a malware removal, I guess, on there. Use a stronger admin password. Enable network access protection. Disable SSH and Telnet. These are all things you should do on every NAS. If you're not using a service, for instance, don't turn it on. Excess services just provide more attack surface. You should always turn on any security. The Synology, for instance, after somebody attempts to log in from the same IP address more than 5 times, it says no forever. It blocks it. So there's things you can do. I wonder if there's some good sources for QNAP tutorials. I would guess the YouTube would be the place to look. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I would guess. So what is your issue? I mean, gosh, you should know how to run these things. They say don't use a standard system port. Use a separate port. Don't use one of the obvious ports. I know I look at my logs on my Synology, and there's somebody from China constantly trying to brute force into it. This is pretty common. So what are you having trouble with specifically?
Well, it's just they have everything broken down into apps, and I don't know which app to choose to back up services. Et
this has
cetera.
become a problem with these because they've added so many features. It's feature bloat that it's not immediately obvious. Well, which one should I? Yeah, same thing as Synology. There's 4 different backup programs. Which one should I use?
Right.
Yeah.
And what I've got now is I've got about 10 Gmail apps, Gmail accounts, and I've got it now where it's backing up my Gmail accounts so that I have a way to in case something happens.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because it's just I'm finding it overwhelming, I guess is what it is.
Yeah. Well, it's a power tool. QNAP TV is a YouTube channel by QNAP that seems to have looks like some good tutorials that are specific. Like I'm looking at one that says back up your Mac to QNAP NAS. So these tutorials are very specific about how to do stuff. So that's cool.
Okay, well I'll take a look at those.
Yeah, I don't have any specific QNAP advice only because I don't use one, but everybody I know who uses them loves them. But maybe they'll be less popular. I love my Synology, it's not immediately obvious how to use it. Hey, I appreciate the call though. Thank you. Normally, Sam Abuelsamid joins us at this hour to talk about cars. He had an opportunity. The big Formula E races are going on in Brooklyn this week. Electronic I want to say F1, but it's Formula E racing, and he is right now, as we speak, lucky guy, driving the new Porsche Taycan, Taycan, the first electric vehicle from Porsche. So in an hour, he will join us. His hair will be swept back, his eyes will be wide, and he will tell us what it was like to drive that amazing electric vehicle. Next hour, Sam Abuelsamid, who's going to be taking over for Chris, because Chris, these guys are having way too much fun. He's at the North Sea Jazz Festival in Rotterdam today, seeing Jacob Collier live. And I don't know who that is, but Chris is very excited. So no photo guy today. Car guy delayed an hour so he can drive the Porsche Taycan. Lucky fella. Meanwhile, let's go to Hawaii. My good friend, Ellie. Hello, Ellie.
Hi, Leo. How you doing?
I am great. How are things in the paradise?
Quiet. I like it that way.
Quiet in paradise. This is the slow season because it's so hot, right?
Well, to me it isn't. I love the hot weather.
That's why you're living there. But the tourists they tend to stay away in the summertime.
Right.
Yeah. Nice.
And I'm trying to get away from Facebook myself. I deleted my app. Deleted but I don't know how to get rid of my profile completely. It's such a pain in the neck.
I'm not sure you need to do that. I mean, it's up to you and how strongly you feel about Facebook. I think it's the first step I took early this year, or actually last year. It's been a year, it'll be almost a year since I left Facebook. First thing I did was to take the phone app off. And there's some good reasons to do that.
I did that too.
Yeah, there's really good. First of all, it's a battery drain on any phone, Android or iOS. It also is following you around. Facebook's using it to get location information and whatever else it can glean from you. And, of course, apps on your phone get more information than apps on your laptop or desktop. So that's a good first step. If you want to delete your Facebook account, it is in the settings. And, in fact, they've made it easier, believe it or not, because of the European Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, which requires companies doing business in the European Union to offer an easy way for customers to delete their information. So the easiest way, if you do decide to delete Facebook, and you say, it's time for me to delete Facebook, is to go to deletefacebook.com.
Okay.
I know you're vision impaired, Ellie, but this is a pretty clean site. It has a link directly to the Facebook deletion page.
Okay.
And it helps you. This is a site created by somebody who hates Facebook. Delete Facebook.
Oh, I can't stand it. I haven't been on it in over a year, and I don't miss it.
Yeah. So if you're not, this is a great test, right? You don't miss it. Now is the time to get rid of it. So there's a couple of steps to deletion. The first thing, you'll be deactivated for a month. And if you log in at any time in that month, I discovered this. It goes, oh, good, you're back. So don't log in. Don't click any link. Don't, be very careful. After a month, it's permanently deleted. So they give you 30 days. They will try to switch you to deactivation. That's not the same as deletion. If you want to,
okay.
The other thing to do before you delete it, and this is the thing I didn't do and I regret now. If you've ever used, how they have that login with Facebook on a lot of apps.
Yes, and I hate it.
If you've used it, don't delete your Facebook account because there's a bunch of apps I can't get into now.
Okay.
So you would want to go through those apps, and one by one, in almost every case, you can add a real login and password. And then if you go into, you can find those apps in Facebook. It'll say all the apps. There's an apps permissions page that will say all the apps you've done that with, and you can find them if you forget, because I didn't remember. And then the other thing this delete Facebook page says, deletefacebook.com, is consider an account deletion epitaph. I am leaving Facebook. You can reach me here, here, and here.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, see, you're like me. I didn't care. The one thing to remember is that your data is deleted, but if others have shared your data, obviously if it's in somebody else's account, you can't delete that. So some of your stuff, your bits and pieces will be lying around on Facebook forevermore.
That's the internet for you.
Thank you. You said it so I didn't have to. So what's up in your world, Al?
We are a proud owner of a June oven, second generation.
You got it at the right price. I overpaid. June oven is an Android-based toaster oven, convection oven, and I love it. But I paid $1,500 for it because I got the first generation. It's dumb Leo.
Well, you have to try it before we buy it.
Yeah. So you like it?
That's why. Well, I do, but I want to know about steak. I did a steak. My partner and I, we both did the steak, and it said cooking is done. And we look at it. One side looked done, and the other side didn't.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
It doesn't say turn over or anything like that.
That's not good. Did you use the probe?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how it knows it's done. You use a temperature probe as you're cooking. And so the thing about the June oven that's kind of cool is it has built-in recipes, and there's more all the time. So you can...
Yes.
And it even has a camera.
I have new ones. Right.
Does yours have a camera in it?
Yes.
Because yours is less than half what I spent.
Yes, it has a camera.
So the camera sees what you put in, sees the meat, and goes, oh, you're cooking steak. Do you want me to do the steak recipe? Now, I'm worried what it sounds like is that both burners are not clicking on. The top and the bottom should both be on.
Right. I checked that, and it said it was on. The broiler, the convection, all that.
Yeah. Well, make sure it is, because if that sounds like it's not. The other thing is...
So are you supposed to turn it over or not?
I don't remember. I don't think so. No, because it should tell you.
Okay.
Now I know you're blind. Can your partner see?
Yeah, so I can too, but
you can see well enough to read
Yeah, and the app works in VoiceOver too.
You're kidding.
I tried it out.
Oh, that's awesome.
I tried it out for those who can't see at all, if they could use it, and they can.
Oh, that's so... in a way, this is great for a blind user, isn't it? Because...
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it tells you what to do. My favorite thing is Brussels sprouts in there. But so if it didn't...
I haven't tried that yet.
Oh, they're
love
great.
Brussels
Oh, me
sprouts.
too. They have some great and they'll cook it just right. So here's the thing on this. If your recipe doesn't come out right, they have a feedback area that you could say, wait a minute. And my experience with the June folks is they're pretty responsive. Now maybe
Yes, they're very good.
Yeah. So maybe
We had a problem with our thermometer where you have to reboot the oven when we try to make beef hot dogs.
Well, that's not right.
And
so there's a phrase we didn't
think
think we'd ever hear, but now we're in the 21st century, and yes, it's a phrase, reboot the oven.
Right.
It's an Android device, and I've done it too. You can reset it.
Right.
Reboot the oven.
We went and did the blow dry, and I didn't know it took that long. It took hours until it was done.
For the hot dogs?
No, the blow dry feature.
Oh, I haven't tried blow dry. What does blow dry do?
It cleans the oven. It locks the key.
Oh, it's self-cleaning.
The oven.
That's nice.
Yeah. except it took hours, and we were shocked. We thought, oh, it's not that big. It won't take that long.
Yeah, and oven cleaning does take time. I know my regular oven takes all night.
I know, but that's a regular oven.
Yeah,
I mean, this isn't that big.
I would send them a note saying, hey, this is what happened, and maybe they want to adjust their recipe. They're very, you're an early adopter, Ellie. Aloha. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. Let's get on the phone here. Let's see. Who do we have on the horn? Line 1, Jack in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Hello, Jack.
Hi, Leo. Longtime watcher and listener, and I finally have a question for you.
Well, I'm so glad you called. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. On an Android phone, I don't know if you call it sideways hamburger button or whatever.
The sideways hamburger button. Okay.
Well, the 3 vertical lines.
Yeah.
Down at the bottom. I'm using the Microsoft launcher.
Okay.
And before the last Android update, when I would push that, I could get a list view of all the running apps.
Yes.
And now it is just like a little bitty screenshot that goes horizontal. And I wanted to see if there was a way to change that back to a list view.
So what you're seeing with the little bitty screenshots is the recent apps. Do you want to see
the running apps?
Yeah, the running apps. That's what you're talking. You don't want to see a list of all the apps. You want to just see the running apps.
Right. No, I have everything organized the way I want it for all the apps that I have. Yeah. And I just want to see the ones that are running.
Android changed. Google changed how Android does recents into that carousel. Which I'm not. I understand. You know, especially since you're used to it doing another way, that you don't like how it looks. I think it's going to come down to the launcher, whether that launcher will allow that. So I don't know if there's a setting to change from the carousel to some other way of doing it, but the launcher controls. So if the mic
all through the launcher, and I haven't found a way to change it.
Let me just see. I think that I think this is all part of Android P. They've changed how the recent screen looks. It's system level, so it may be that they can't. You want it stacked instead of sideways? Is that your goal?
Well, and a list, just kind of.
Oh, you just want a list. Yeah.
Like it would have like a little header type of thing saying phone or.
What kind of phone? What kind of Android phone do you use?
It's the Note 8.
Oh, good. So we do have a way to do this on the Samsung phones, I think. But you have to use a Samsung app called Good Lock. Good Lock. It's in the Samsung store.
Okay.
Good Lock is actually one reason to be glad you're using Samsung's phones.
Okay.
And the new one, 2019, is fairly recent. I think it came out last month. So make sure you get Good Lock.
Yeah, it was a month or two ago.
Oh, you know about Good Lock. Okay.
Well, no, not Good Lock, but I'm saying the Android update was like a month or two ago. Right. It wasn't very long ago.
Yeah. So Good Lock is something Samsung puts out that changes the user interface. It's not available on non-Samsung phones, but it is on the Note. So you install 2019's Good Lock, and then what Good Lock does is it has modules of all different kinds, and the one you want is, I think it's called Task Changer. So when you put in Task Changer, you can then go into the Task Changer settings, and you can change the layout type from stack to list to grid to carousel. Carousel is the one you don't like. List is the one you want. So you can go back. In fact, there's other ones you might find you like even better. But Good Lock is a great tip for anybody who has a Samsung Galaxy phone. It's only it's not in the App Store, the Google Play Store. It's in the Samsung Store. So go to the Samsung Store, install 2019 Good Lock, and then look at, after you've played a little bit with that extension, look at all the others, because there's like a dozen of them. And they all are all about changing the user interface to make it more suitable. And there's a lot of really useful tools in there. The one you want is Task Changer.
That won't change the way that the Microsoft launcher works or anything?
No. So I do think a launcher could change this, but given that Microsoft's not, good luck will do it, and I don't think it'll break the launcher at all. No, it's really, this is operating at the system level, so I think you'll be okay.
Okay, good.
This is the tool that people who are like avid Samsung phone users all sing the praises of. They say this is why we stay with Galaxy phones, because of the good lock. Okay,
well that's good news.
Yeah.
And I had one other quick question for you.
Sure.
I have Fire TV sticks on all my TVs.
Yeah.
And I have streaming app. Right now I'm gone to Sling, and instead of having to run Sling on each Fire TV stick, and I'm using bandwidth on each one of those, is there a server type of product that I could run Sling or PlayStation View on like a central type app or server, and then have my TVs look at that so that I'm not using 3 times the bandwidth just to go from room to room?
I don't think that Sling is going to, if it's just sitting there, use bandwidth, but you can, I think, do a centralized Sling.
No. Well, what I'm saying is I'm actually...
Oh, you're watching the same show. I get it, on all those TVs. So you're watching Wimbledon and you want to go from room to room and be able to continue to watch it. I get it. I get the idea.
Right.
Take a look at Plex.
Okay.
Plex.tv. Now, this is a big install because now you got to set up a server, and you have Plex clients on your Fire TV and so forth. But what's nice about Plex is you can put PlayStation View or Sling TV on your Plex server, and then have it served from the central server. So yeah, I think this is basically what you want to do.
Yeah. I just want to feed it into one place.
Yeah.
And then
so your Plex server would be getting the stream, and then you'd be running the Plex client throughout your house, and it would be picking up that stream.
Okay, and the client goes on the Fire TV stick?
Yes. Yeah, there's Plex clients for every device known to man. It's kind of amazing. Plex is a really interesting. If you want to get you're clearly starting to think about kind of unifying your television system. Plex is the way to do it. It's pretty impressive.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good, because right now getting the 2 or 3 different TVs in sync with each other is impossible.
Yeah, that might be. Yeah, that's another issue because that's actually, I don't know what that would be. I haven't done this, so I don't know what that would be like. You might get a little echo. Yeah, but it'll be better than doing separate Sling on each device. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Using up all my bandwidth.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, your Sling server would be the one person downloading that content, and then it would distribute that using Plex TV. It would distribute that to all the other devices. Yeah, I think that would. I mean, that's my best guess, but they do support it, and I think that's probably how they support it. I've never tried this. It's a good idea. Let me know, will you?
I will.
Yeah.
Thanks, Leo.
Plex is an amazing feature thing. I mean, it just does everything. You're welcome. Great to talk to you in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Sounds pretty. Our website, techguylabs.com. I tell you what, I'll put an article about this there, about using Sling to do, using Plex to do Sling TV. I'll also put a link. We got a lot to how to change Android. And I'll even make it easy for you Galaxy phone users. We'll give you a link to Good Lock. What a great tool that is. TechGuyLabs.com. By the way, that's free. There's no charge. It's wide open. No sign up, nothing like that. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number, 888-827-5536. By the way, another great place to go while you're watching or listening to the show. And I say watching because we do a crazy as it might seem, a video stream of this at our website, twit.tv. But if you're watching or listening, go to our chat room, irc.twit.tv. Twit's my podcast network, so we have that chat room set up for the podcast. But we use it for the radio show, too. And there's some real experts. There's a Plex expert in there right now. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. I'm glad I don't talk like that all the time, right? You are too. It's time to talk tech. 8888 Ask Leo. That's my phone number if you want to talk about computers or the internet or, I don't know, smartphones. We talk a lot about that. Smartwatches, very little about that. In fact, I don't think we've had a call about a smartwatch in years. It's okay. It's fine with me. We don't talk about GPSs or video cameras much anymore either, do we? It's funny how categories shift over time. A little later on, our car guy, Sam Abuelsamid, will be here. He's normally on in the first hour of the show, but he'll be on in the second hour because earlier today he was in Brooklyn for the Formula E races, which everybody's raving about these. These are kind of like Formula One cars, but they're electric. And this is a whole new thing, Formula E. He's there not only for the race, but he gets to drive a very hot electric car that is not out yet, won't be out till September. Porsche's first, the Taycan, Taycan. Porsche wants you to pronounce it Taycan. And this has been much anticipated, but heavily under the wraps. I'm very interested in it myself. I've never had a Porsche. But, electric cars are kind of cool because unlike gas engines, they have so much torque that you practically fly off the line. So I'm really curious what he thinks of the new Taycan. He'll have his report in about half an hour. I think he's on his way back now. Meantime, I'm here for you. 8888 Ask Leo. That's my number if you want to talk about that. Or we do talk about electric cars a lot these days. I'm sad because, I've had a Tesla for the last 3 years, a Tesla Model X, which I love. Very impressed with it, but it was a lease and it's going back on Friday. Oh, we replaced it with a much less expensive car that I think is pretty much almost, if not entirely as good, the Chevy Bolt with a B. It's an all-electric vehicle. Chevy has done, I think, a very good job with this. Great range, 200-plus mile range. It doesn't have all the autopilot features of a Tesla. That's fine with me. I could use adaptive cruise control, but all of that automatic lane-changing stuff, that's a little scary. And I think it's a mistake. I think Tesla's made a mistake in telling people, oh, yeah, just let the car drive. No. I always keep my hands on the wheel, my eyes peeled, because sometimes these things make mistakes. But I do like the Bolt. It's a lot of fun to drive. 8888 Ask Leo. So we could talk about that. We could talk about computers. We could talk about the internet, home theater, all that stuff. Anything with a chip in it. Steve, Redondo Beach, California is next. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Leo.
Welcome to the show.
I'm having a problem trying to reset my Windows 10.
Yeah.
It's a 5-year-old Toshiba satellite, and it was running really slow, so I got a new computer and moved all my data onto the new computer. Now I want to reset the Windows. As soon as I turned it on, it said automatic disk repair. So I ran that for about 12 hours with no luck of anything.
This is on the Toshiba, the old computer?
Yeah. On the Toshiba.
Yeah, it sounds like your hard drive is a little flaky. Were you having problems with it before you got the new computer?
It was running extremely slow.
Yeah, that's often, it's funny. You'd think, it's slow because, I don't know, there's too much software on it or something weird's going on. Often it's just that the hard drive is hard to read and the the operating system spends an inordinate amount of time trying to read those sectors. That may be that drive is flaky. Now, the good news is replacing it's cheap.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but before I buy one. So I went into the F12 mode at startup and to do it internally, and it says a partition's missing. There's no image. I tried USB, and it just takes me in a circle constantly.
The good news is you made a copy of it. You have everything, right? You haven't lost any.
I've got 4 backups.
Man, I love you. I wish everybody were like you. That's fantastic.
I got everything on USB drive. I've got it on disks and on my new computer.
In my opinion, once a drive starts doing this, there's no point in trying to fix it unless you had data on it you got to get. You don't.
Yeah.
I think it's time to say this drive is dead. And drives die. I mean, this is not unusual. It's a spinning drive. It's an HD, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those will die, 5 years. Yeah, that's about right. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. Google did a big study of all the hard drives they use because, as you might imagine, they use millions. And it came up with, if there'll be a certain small percentage of drives that'll fail in the first 6 months. If it doesn't fail in the first 6 months, it's going to be good to go for about 2 years, and then they start dying at the rate of about 8% a year every year thereafter. They just wear out. So you can try more things to recover it. I wouldn't. I would just say, how big is that hard drive?
I don't even remember. It was less than a terabyte. I know that.
Oh, yeah. It's probably, given it was a 5-year-old Toshiba, probably 256 or 512.
Yeah, I think it was a 512.
A 500 gigabyte solid state drive that would be 10 times faster, more reliable, about $50.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Why are you spending any energy on this? See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying here? I think we, as geeks, we always want to fix it. Yeah, I can fix this, but you've done enough. It's time to let this poor old drive go to the hard drive in the sky.
So then I should not get the spinning drive. I should just get.
I would put an SSD. Now spinning drives are still cheaper. You can get a 4 terabyte spinning drive for $88. So, the price, just as the price has fallen for SSDs, the HDs have fallen too. But SSDs are now close to what the price of hard drives used to be, certainly back 5 years ago. So under 10 cents a gigabyte. That's the measure we typically use. How much a gigabyte? And while they were for a while, they were $1 a gigabyte or more. They're down below 10 cents a gigabyte. So I think there's no reason not to, given that they're so much faster. There's no question, maybe in the early days we were worried, are they going to wear out? That's no longer the issue. They are as reliable, if not more reliable. You already, you'll get more than 5 years out of it almost certainly. No moving parts.
Then I'll have a second computer.
And now you'll have a second computer. And you know what? That Toshiba is going to be very fast. Because I'll tell you what, the things that make computers fast haven't changed that much in 5 years. Processors a little faster. Maybe you have more memory nowadays, more RAM. But really the biggest difference is from HD to SSD. That's the big shift over the last 5 years. And now you can put an SSD in, that thing is going to feel very, very swift. Now, if you really want to have some fun, maybe put Linux on this one. Try out something new and modern.
Can I run both at the same time?
You sure can. It's a little trickier to do what we call a dual boot. But absolutely. I do that on my ThinkPad. I love I prefer Linux. It's my favorite operating system by far, but sometimes you need Windows to run those Windows programs that you just can't get on Linux. And so I have a little bit of a Windows machine and a lot of Linux machine on that machine. I think Pop OS is my favorite Linux now. It is easy to install. It will run just fine on that Toshiba. And you get all the benefits. The battery life will be the same. Sometimes if you have some weird stuff like fingerprint readers, those don't work as well. But generally speaking, Pop OS should do everything Windows 10 does on that Toshiba. And, it's a chance to try it out. You got a Windows machine. I think I'm going to start proselytizing that people should, if you're technical, which you obviously are. Anybody who has 4 backups knows what they're doing. If you're technical, you should absolutely be trying Linux, because at this point, going forward, really, there are Unix-based operating systems and there's Windows. Even Macintosh is Unix-based. Android is Linux-based. Unix is the original 1970 operating system. These things are very well understood now. There's no reason that you need a proprietary operating system. Debian Linux, which is one of the most popular community Linuxes, has 45,000 applications, up-to-date, current, secure applications available for it. 45,000. So any of the excuses people gave in the years gone by I have to have Windows or I have to have Mac, I think people should be looking at Linux now. And if you're not a geek, if you're not super, techie, Chrome OS, which is a very simple version of Linux designed by Google to be super secure. Chrome OS. Unless you're a gamer or you're designing rocket ships, I don't really see a reason to buy Windows at this point. My phone number, 8888 Ask Leo. website, techguylabs.com. More calls right after this. Kisco Kid Pop OS is Ubuntu. It's a spin on Ubuntu, which is a spin on Debian. And I think it improves on Ubuntu in several key ways, one of which is it has NVIDIA drivers if you have an NVIDIA discrete GPU in your computer. The installation is very smooth. They've done a great job, better than Ubuntu in my opinion. I think it's Ubuntu Plus, and it's, for a long time I was an Arch guy, and I think Arch is hard to recommend because it takes some sophistication to use. I was recommending a Arch installer called Antergos, but they've stopped doing it. So casting around, I have a number of System 76 computers. That's the company that does Pop OS, and I love them. And I now have Pop OS on every that's my Linux of choice on every computer, and it installs beautifully. This is I'm have in front of me right now a ThinkPad T470S. It's running beautifully on that. Runs on my ThinkPad Extreme X1 Extreme. I'm running it on a Oryx from System 76. Very happy. Super, super nice. Yeah, but if you have to use Pro Tools, okay, fine. I don't think Pro Tools is the best DAW out there by any means, not even close. And there's some very good DAWs available for Linux. Oh, Apple Card launches this week. How exciting. Oh, I should talk about our fine sponsor for the podcast. Wasabi. Wasabi. Do you like wasabi? I'm not talking that green hot stuff they put on your sushi. I'm talking wasabi hot cloud storage. I love wasabi hot cloud storage. Created by two of my favorite people, Jeff Flowers and David Friend. Now, David was the CEO at Carbonite. Jeff was his CTO. And Jeff invented this great way of writing sequentially to disks. They patented it. And they said, this works so well for Carbonite. What if we made a hot cloud storage company using the same technology, 80% cheaper, 1/5 the cost of Amazon's S3, but it's 6 times faster with 11 nines of durability. And we charge less. What kind of business would that be? That's how Wasabi was born. By 2025, 5 years from now, 80% of enterprises will have shut down their traditional data centers. Why would you want one? 10% right now are in the cloud. It's going to be 80% in 5 years. Everybody's moving to the cloud. Wasabi is the solution. Now, I know you're going to the boss. He says, we're going to move to the cloud. I want you to do some research. And you're going to have to put Amazon. You're going to have to put Google. You're going to have to put Microsoft in there. But I just want you to add a fourth name, Wasabi. And when you show the boss how great Wasabi is, it's better. It uses the S3 API, so you already know how to use it. But unlike S3, there's no hidden fees for API access. There's no hidden fees for egress. They have something that I think is the best thing ever, especially in this day and age of ransomware. You can designate some of your cloud storage, whatever you want, as immutable. Cannot be changed. Ransomware can't write to it. Why would you pay $600,000 to a ransomware virus author when you can get Wasabi so inexpensively and have 11 nines of durability? They do data integrity checking to make sure that your data is unchanged. This is such a great solution. Disruptive technology is turning the industry on its ear, and I'm just spreading the word. I want people to know about Wasabi. Enterprise-grade cloud storage for 1/5 the cost of Amazon and 6 times faster. It's actually just as secure, and probably I would say in most cases more secure than your on-premises storage. Certainly safer. Certainly, with immutability, immune to ransomware. You can't say that about your hot storage in down the hall in the closet. HIPAA compliant, FINRA compliant, CJIS compliant. All you have to do is calculate the savings. Show the boss. Say, yeah, boss, we could go with the best known names, but I got something you might really like. Wasabi. Try it free right now. Unlimited storage for a month at wasabi.com, but you got to use the offer code TWIT, TWIT. Join the movement. Migrate your data to the cloud, but do it right with confidence. And, I always like to support the new guy, the little guy, the smart guy, and this is the smart guy. These are the smart guys. Wasabi. WASABI, wasabi.com. Don't forget that offer code TWIT so you can bang on it for a month with unlimited storage. Hot cloud storage done right, wasabi.com. Offer code TWIT. We thank him so much for supporting the Tech Guy podcast, and I thank you for showing your support for the Tech Guy podcast by using that special offer code. That'll let him know you heard it here. Wasabi. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Hey, some good news from our chat room, and I don't know if this is true. Remember Apple announced they're going to be doing a credit card, the Apple Card. It'll be made of titanium. It's a MasterCard, but it doesn't have a number or a name on it. It's kind of, I guess it does have your name. No, take it back. It does have your name, but it's etched. It's etched into the card. It has a chip, but no number, because instead of having a fixed number, as most credit cards do, that you give to the merchant, it generates a unique number every time you do a transaction that is to protect your privacy. After analysis by folks who pay attention to credit card rates and so forth, the Apple Card isn't head and shoulders above any other card. They do have a cashback solution, especially if you buy a lot of Apple gear, that might save you some money, but it's not necessarily even the best cashback offer. However, it is an Apple Card, and it does have an app. Of course it does. It has an app on your iPhone that goes with it that will help you budget, help you pay it back. So it'd be interesting, and I'm told, my chat room seems to have some very big connections, that this is the week. This is the week that Apple Card will finally come out. They said, all Apple said is this summer. Well, it's summer. It's officially summer. Be interesting. I don't need another credit card. I don't even want another credit card. And I know the credit bureaus don't want me to get another credit card, but I have to say, titanium. 8888, titanium. 8888, ask Leo. You could cut a steak with it. Let's go to Puerto Rico. Jorge's on the line. Hello, Jorge.
Hey, how you doing, Leo? Thanks for taking my call.
I am great. Thanks for calling. Welcome.
Thank you, Leo. I have a 40-year-old application that I built and still market. It's for medical offices, known as a practice management system.
It's 40 years old?
Yes, sir.
40 years old. What did you write it in?
I started with Visual Basic,
which is gone now, right?
I'm sorry. I started with Basic.
Basic. Quick Basic. Moved it to Visual Basic. Is it a .NET app now?
Right now it's a .NET, but before Quick Basic, there was just Basic.
Basic. Wow. Yeah. Hey, that's cool. Did you do that because you wanted to run your practice on it, or how did you get doing that 40 years ago?
Well, I wanted to work for myself. I used to work for IBM, and then I went to Wang.
Oh yeah, Wang word processors. Yeah, and Wang, the legend in the business.
Yes.
Yeah.
He kind of predicted all this internet thing with the video and all that.
Yeah, he was really an amazing fellow, Ann Wang. I guess Wang's gone though, right? Wang Labs. I think they're
totally.
Yeah.
They couldn't keep the growth together. They couldn't manage it.
No, because it was a dedicated piece of hardware, and once personal computers came out, you just run some software on a PC and you're done.
True, but they didn't evolve.
Yeah. I remember the first WordPerfect had the Wang keystrokes, so that anybody who'd been trained to use a Wang would feel comfortable sitting down at WordPerfect. That was the secret to its success.
Yes, it was.
So you were at IBM, you were at Wang, you said, I want to run my own business. What needs to be done? Medical office management software, and you wrote it yourself.
I wrote it myself, and it was all printing paper.
Oh, man. On a dot matrix printer.
Lots of paper wasted.
This is back in the 80s.
83.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what's really great is that you've kept it up to date. You've kept developing it. And so this has become a business. This has been a good business for you over 40 years.
I'm doing it on what's the name of the framework? JavaScript-based, TypeScript.
Oh, wow. TypeScript's awesome. Oh, you're very modern.
Angular. I'm doing that now.
You're doing it on Angular with TypeScript. That's good because that means it's a web-based application now. And, of course, that's what everybody wants.
Well, I'm going hybrid with the hurricane stuff here. I found out that if I go hybrid,
oh, you're smart. Yeah, because if the internet's down, what are you going to do? You're a doctor. You got to treat patients.
Exactly. I'm not a doctor myself, but yeah, exactly.
Well, your clients are. Oh, that's really interesting. Oh, that's really smart.
Yes.
So what can I do to help you? Sounds like you're living large here.
I do. I study all the time, and when I left college, I thought I was never going to study again.
Well, this is what I admire because, a lot of, especially specialized line of business software like this, they wrote it in VB. They're going to stick with VB all the way down, right? But you're smart. You modernize. You're using Angular, which is a JavaScript framework that is very state-of-the-art. TypeScript is even more state-of-the-art. It is a really good, much better than plain JavaScript programming language from Microsoft.
Actually, my first database was ISAM, and then I moved to B3.
Oh, man, I remember those.
Yeah, now doing SQL, of course.
Of course you are, yeah. SQL Server, yeah. Very impressive. Do most of your clients run on Azure, or do they run, you said you do a dual thing so they can run on premises too?
Oh, no. I went cheap. I went to Droplets.
Oh, very smart.
So I set up my own server, Unix, Linux.
Of course you was just talking about Ubuntu. Of course you're no fool. You're using the best. You'd be nuts to run it on Windows. So let me ask you the name of it because there's people listening saying, this sounds pretty good. I want to get a copy of this.
Medical Biller. Website medicalbillerpr.com.
Nice. And are most of your customers in Puerto Rico, or are they all over the world?
I got one in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and I got one in Florida.
But it's Spanish language, so it's Spanish language medical offices would be most interested.
Well, I had a light bulb come up, and now I got a button that says English.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I think this is, and is it just you, or have you hired people now, or is it just you?
Well, it's a secret. It's only me.
That's awesome.
I used to have some people with me, but
worst thing I ever did was hire employees.
Well, I'm a very poor manager. I'm a doer.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I actually, my best hire ended up being my wife. I hired her. She's a very good manager, so we let her run the business because I do have employees, and I love my employees. I'm just teasing them. But it is nice if you don't need them. Hey, hang on, because I got to take a break. Sam Abuelsamid is coming up, our car guy. We're going to talk about the Porsche Taycan. I think if we get him, he just did a test drive. Stay tuned. I am so impressed, Jorge. It sounds like this is what a wonderful thing you've done. And it's fun, right? You love it.
I love it. I have my own hours. I feel gratification when I publish something people like.
Yes. That's what's fun about writing software. I write a lot of software just for myself because I don't feel like it's good enough to give to anybody, and I definitely don't want to support it. But much better if you write something and people use it. I have done that. And what a neat feeling. What a neat feeling.
It's great when you get positive feedback.
Yes.
It's awful when you get negative.
Yeah, that's the problem is supporting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great. I'm looking at it. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I got another version coming, but we're still working on it. Actually, I'm the one doing it too.
It's a lot of work, but you enjoy it, right? I think you look forward every morning. You look forward to sitting down and firing up TypeScript.
Well, you know what? I get a lot of satisfaction from learning some new tech and then putting it to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to break for Sam. In fact, let me just check to make sure. Sam's in his car. Can you hear me, Sam?
I can hear you, Leo.
Good. This will be fun. And we can see you, too. That's going to be great. I can't wait. So hang on. We're going to get to you in a second. So, Jorge, it looks like you're having trouble getting text messages through. Is that the case?
Yes, I'm having trouble with the AT&T gateway.
Yeah.
We're doing fine, reminding patients of visits.
Are you using Twilio?
I'm using MailMonkey with an app they have, Mandrill, and then
I'm going to recommend. I think that's fine, but I'm going to recommend you take a look at Twilio. TWILIO.
Okay, great. Let me. Can you spell that again, please?
TWILIO. LIO. This is specifically designed to do what you want to do. They are the king of the hill in this business. Okay. And if there are issues, they will have solved them. It's not Mail Monkey's business, right? It's just it's a small sideline for them.
I think so.
Twilio, this is all they do.
Super.
And I think it'll be less expensive. I bet it will. I have a Twilio number for a jabber that I use all the time. It's really a great service. It's very affordable. But at least take a look at Twilio. And as a developer, you'll like it. It's got great APIs. Best APIs ever.
Super.
Hey, it's such a thrill to talk to you, Jorge. Congratulations.
Same here. I'm all lit up because I was kind of at a dead end, but I'm going to take a look at it right away.
Everybody I know who wants to do voice services or text services uses Twilio. It's the king of the hill.
That's why I watch you, Leo.
Hey, thanks for calling, Jorge. Congratulations. 40 years. Not many people can say that. That's awesome.
Well, let's see if we can make it to 50.
You bet. You and me both.
Okay, if you retire in PR, make sure you contact me.
Are you in San Juan? Where are you?
Oh, no, I'm at the southern tip of the island, right in Venezuela.
Oh, wow. Good luck.
I'm right in the ocean.
Oh, how beautiful. I'm so jealous. You're living the life.
I'm in the Maria Hurricane Gateway.
Oh, yeah, by the way, here it comes again. So I want to get my wife to, because there's no income tax there. I want to move there, but Lisa's afraid of the hurricanes.
Come on down. We'll show you around, and we'll show you how to hide from them.
You're not afraid of them?
No, not anymore.
Yeah. How could it be worse than Maria?
Listen, I got solar panels. I was out without power for 9 months.
Oh, my God. I can't believe it. It's a crime. What our federal government did to Puerto Rico is a crime, and I'm sorry. I apologize on behalf of all the normal people.
You don't have to apologize, but if you do move down here, you will be moving to the great U.S. colony of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, colony. Yeah, statehood. Are you in favor of statehood?
Oh, you bet.
Yeah. The only thing is, I really like no income tax.
Me too.
I mean, that's a big deal. We pay 50% in income tax.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Oh.
Now, Sam Abuelsamid is on the line. He's our car guy, principal researcher at Navigant Research. And Sam, you're not driving. You're in the passenger seat.
I'm in the back seat of a Range Rover right now.
Okay.
On the way to JFK.
Oh, okay. So it's okay. But I'm so excited. First of all, you were at the Formula E races in Brooklyn. Was that awesome?
It was amazing. I have never been to an electric car race before. And so this was a new experience for me. I've been to a lot of races over the years. This is the first time I've not had to wear earplugs at a race.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
No gas fumes, no.
No, I mean, actually the cars, the Formula E cars sound a lot like TIE fighters, which is pretty weird. They buzz along. The sound is mostly coming from the gearbox, and it sounds really neat. And the cars are very fast. And unlike Indy cars or Formula One cars, they have very little in the way of downforce, aerodynamic downforce, which means they can run a lot closer together. So you get some really good racing. And if you get an opportunity to check out Formula E, you can see most of the races. This was the last race of the season. They run from the fall through the spring. This is the last race of this season. They start up again in the fall, but you can see the past races on YouTube. And so they stream them on there. And they also had a new support series this year from Jaguar called the I-Pace E-Trophy Series. So they use a modified version of the Jaguar I-Pace, which you and I drove last December.
Yes.
And, they put in a roll cage for safety reasons, but it uses a stock motors, stock battery and everything. And, they have professional drivers driving these things.
So cool.
And they're, it's amazing to watch. But
every time somebody pulls up next to me in a Ferrari or a Lotus, and I'm driving my Tesla Model 10 and Model X, and they look at me, want to race, I'm just thinking to myself, you have no idea, my friend. Because electric cars, I mean, they're fast. 0 to 60 in my Model 10, Model X, about 4 seconds. It's boom. I don't like to do it because I feel like I'm about to black out. Now, I don't care about any of that. I care about the fact that you got to drive the car, my dream car. I know I'll never own one, but I really would love to.
I did not actually get to drive it.
Okay.
It's still a prototype. They didn't let us drive. We got to ride, take a couple of laps around the Formula E track with Neil Yanni driving. Neil Yanni won the 24 Hours Le Mans in 2016, driving for Porsche in their 919 hybrid.
Did he try to make you throw up?
He drove very rapidly. Let's put it that way. He wanted to see what this car was capable of, and it is capable of a lot.
We're talking. I should explain the first electric Porsche. They're going to start shipping in September. They'll be in very short supply, even though they've made more than they thought.
September, at the end of the year.
Yeah, Taycan, Taycan. What did you think?
It's really good. That this was a prototype, so the interior was still all covered up, so we didn't get to see any details of what the interior looks like. But I sat in the back seat. I'm 5'11". I had a helmet on. I still had plenty of room.
No kidding.
So, this is a car that is easily, seats 4 adults. 5. You could probably put 5 if they're not too broad-shouldered like me. So and it's a hatchback like the Tesla Model S.
Oh, interesting. I thought it was more
similar in size.
I thought it looked more like a more traditional, kind of a Cayman kind of style.
No, it's similar kind of shape to a Model S.
Okay.
Fastback sedan.
It is a fastback. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a sedan. It's not tall like your Model X. More Model S.
Yeah, and it's a 4-door, and I'm glad to hear that the back seat's okay. So what were your impressions? You liked it?
Yeah, it's very fast. Handles really well. We talked with Neil, while he was driving, and this is a guy that knows fast cars. He's driven 230, 240 miles an hour on the Mulsanne straight at Le Mans, and so you can kind of trust his judgment, I think. And he was quite impressed with the way this thing handles.
Nice. Now it's a shame they covered up the interior because it has, from the leaked photos I've seen, kind of unique controls in the center console there. Could you see him shifting?
No, we could not see any of that. He pulled up. Everything was all covered up, and we got inside, sat down in the car, and so we didn't see any of the details of what the dashboard looks like. Yeah. But they will be doing the global unveil in September, so we'll see all the details in September.
It apparently, according to the leaked photos, has some sort of autopilot. I doubt Yanni used the autopilot.
No, he was definitely the pilot. It was
Oh, it sounds like a lot of fun, and the Formula E sounds like a lot of fun. I'm jealous that you got to do it.
Yeah, I highly recommend. The Formula E race and it's in Brooklyn next June. And the new season starts off in, I think, October. They have races all around the world. Have an opportunity to go to a Formula E race, I highly recommend it. It's great racing, and it's a great place for a family because it's not so loud. The kid, you don't. So it's definitely.
We're starting to lose you as you get closer to JFK. Sam Abuelsamid is our car guy.
Yeah, pressure.
Yeah, we'll let you and your Uber head on out to the airport, but it's really good to talk to you, Sam. And I'm so jealous. Sam's going to be out here, I think, in a couple of weeks, so we'll maybe catch up then. Thank you, Sam.
All right, bye, Leo.
Bye-bye. Sam Abuelsamid, principal researcher at Navigant Research, and a car guy. It's funny because I think he bleeds high test through and through. But we're slowly wooing him over to the electric side of the fence, I think. Very interesting. 8888 Ask Leo, line 1. G. Scott, good to talk to you. He's calling from
Leo,
Finland. Hi, G. Scott.
How are we doing today?
We're doing great. How are you, sir?
Oh, well, not too bad. I'm in the middle of my Surface Studio upgrade here. And I So
Did you get the Surface Studio Model 2, or you have the original?
Nope. I have the original. I'm gonna get a 2 for my California home, but for now, I'm upgrading this to the SSDs.
Yeah, I love the Surface Studio. We got the original Surface Studio. This is the Microsoft Surface desktop PC. It's an all-in-one with a beautiful, gorgeous 4K 28-inch touchscreen that tilts back all the way back almost to 15 degrees, kind of like a drafting table, or all the way up like a regular all-in-one. But the drawback of this really nice screen is $3,000, but the drawback is all that money went to the screen. The computer itself is kind of anemic. It's really a laptop. And one of the best upgrades you could do, and I know this because we did it to ours, is to take those slow 5,400 RPM hard drives out and replace them with an SSD. Now, you got 2 because I guess it's a kind of a hybrid drive system. So we put in a small, fast boot drive. This, I should say Father Robert did it for me. In fact, he made a video of it on our Know-How series on the Twit network, twit.tv/KH. So he put in about a fast, expensive boot drive and then a slower, less expensive SSD for data. And it's worked flawlessly. Are you running into trouble?
Well, okay, so I was a little hasty. I was following Father Robert's video, and I did not build my restore.
Uh-oh. All right, hang on. I'll help you. But I got to take a break. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So you're starting from scratch.
Right, and so I downloaded the Windows Media tool, creation tool.
Yeah.
And but when I went for, I hooked everything backed up, and I went over. All I can get to is the UEFI screen, and I can't get it to boot from I can't, that you can choose boot manager, and then that opens up a choice of you can set the boot load, and then
you don't see that USB stick.
I'm not seeing the stick. I swipe left to tell it to exit the UEFI and load from the USB, and so then I do that, and it just goes right back to the UEFI screen. I can't get out of that. And so
it may be. You shouldn't have to turn off Secure Boot, but it sounds like Secure Boot might be preventing the install. You can do that in the BIOS. Cosmic Ray's saying he has to do that. Disable Secure Boot. You'd think, because it's a Windows OS, and of course it's signed, that you wouldn't need Secure Boot. But maybe because of the rejiggering of the hard drives, something has.
And here's the other thing: is as I'm doing this, my internet goes out on a Sunday. I call, we can get a tech out there in 24 to 48 hours.
Oh, no. So, try going into BIOS and messing with the boot options.
Okay, and I moved those around. And all I can get, though, Leo, is just to UEFI screen. I cannot get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Don't have a keyboard because I need the Windows
USB
operating.
Slot. Yeah.
Because it's a Bluetooth keyboard.
Yeah. It's too bad you don't have a plug-in keyboard. I'm thinking, make sure that USB key is properly made. First thing, make sure it is a bootable key. You go into boot mode. You don't need legacy boot because it's not a legacy operating system. But apparently you need to turn off Secure Boot, or maybe I wonder if he reset the Secure Boot keys. If it would anyway, turn off the Secure Boot. See if that helps.
Sure.
And then change the boot order, in the BIOS to look at the USB slot.
Yeah, and that was the direction I was trying to head, and then I was even going to make another key, and then I lost my internet.
Criminally.
So I went down the road, and this was as much just to say hello.
Yeah.
I went down the road because I don't have cellular at home without the internet. I've got an extender, and And I tried calling, and I got Kim, and I said, "Hey, I'm just going to say hi, Kim." And she says, "Well, hang on, maybe you'll have an idea or two."
I feel like it should work with secure boot, but you might have to delete the existing keys. Reset the secure keys. I can't remember if that machine has TPM. I'm sure it does.
Is that something I should have done prior to pulling my old hard drive?
No, it's just in BIOS. You don't need a hard drive to do that.
Okay.
It's basically saying, I'm redoing this machine. I'm starting from scratch. Forget those keys. I'm thinking that's really it, because it should secure boot. It's a certified operating system. So
downloaded it.
It may just be that the keys, you need new keys. You need to clear the keys. Then make sure you've got the USB key first in the boot order in BIOS, and then try it. And if it still doesn't, maybe the media is bad.
Right. Okay. Well, that's where I'm heading, but just having a little bit.
It's good to hear from you. Yeah. So when you coming, you're staying there all summer, and then you come out in the winter, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Well,
so I'll probably try to see you. I'm going to try to time it when Father Robert comes back. As a matter of fact, see both of you.
Good. I'd love to. Got to run. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. I talked to G. Scott off the air, helped him a little bit. This is kind of geeky. He's doing brain surgery to his Surface Studio. I really like that Surface Studio. It's an awesome computer, but just not very powerful. And, when you have a 28-inch 4K screen, you kind of want it to be a powerful computer. It has baffled me that Microsoft has never sold the screen by itself, because it's a beautiful screen. And, you could, instead of having a little, laptop-grade computer in the base, you can just make that the base and let me plug in my own computer. My thinking is it's the same reason Apple, with its 5K iMac, didn't let people just use that 5K screen by itself. The screen is so high-res that it has a dedicated processor just for the screen. And I bet you that's what Microsoft did with the Surface Studio as well. Now, the good news is computers are getting fast enough, GPUs are getting fast enough. A 5K screen is no longer oh my goodness. It's a funny thing how fast this changes. When we first started doing a video podcast, and this would have been 2007 maybe, right before the iPhone came out, first iPhone, 2007, so 12, 13 years ago, we thought, my partner Alex Lindsay and I thought, well, Alex said, we could make this a 1080p video. 1080p? You mean high def? Yeah. Said, no. It took him, this is only, again, 12 years ago, took him a week. He shot the video on a very expensive camera, a used camera he got from Lucas. It was the model camera they used to make Star Wars special effects. It was a $100,000 camera. So you needed this fancy of a camera to shoot 1080p 12 years ago, right? Now you could do it on your phone without even breaking a sweat. But back then, $100,000 camera. It was crazy recording, because you'd have to record direct to the hard drive. No, you couldn't record to tape or memory or anything. You had to record direct to the hard drive, and it had to be a very fast computer, and it would record it. You could barely edit it. It took so long to edit it. It took him a week to edit a 10-minute video. Then we put it up for download. Couldn't put it on YouTube. They didn't have 4K back then, so we put it up for download. Nobody could watch it. Your everyday computer back in 2007, just, it would choke. It would drop a frame every 3 frames, or it would freeze, hesitate. It was terrible. He did it anyway, because Alex is that kind of guy. Nowadays, 4K all the way. And 8K is on the horizon. It's amazing how fast this stuff changes. So when Apple came out with its 5K iMac a few years ago, you had to have a special chip. I suspect the same for the Surface Studio back when it came out a couple of years ago. Nowadays, probably not, right? Just put a modern processor, modern GPU in there, and you've got everything you need. Chris, Long Island. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Chris.
Afternoon, Leo. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing awesome. And Microsoft and baffling, aren't those synonyms?
They go together. I feel sorry, too. My best friends, Mary Jo Foley and Paul Thurrott, we do a Windows podcast together. And it's the hardest thing for them to figure out, what the heck is Microsoft saying, doing? I think Microsoft is one of the great companies. Honestly, they're doing amazing things, but sometimes it's hard to figure them out.
Well, I've got one for you. I got a little feedback from a call we had about 4 weeks ago, and then I've got my Microsoft question for you.
Okie doke.
So we were talking, and I was going down to Brazil to work for a few weeks, and we were trying to figure out if, I should get a Wi-Fi hotspot like Skyroam or whatever. So I went with my T-Mobile phone.
Yeah.
And boo on T-Mobile, I got about 110 kbps out of their probably I'd say 2G connection.
To be fair, that they don't promise more than 2 or 3G, and they warn you it's going to be slow, but it is free.
But kudos to Google Fi. Awesome. 10 megabytes per second in 3 different cities down there. I was able to use it as a personal hotspot and
That's
work
great.
off of it. It was awesome.
And it costs you no more than it would in the States, $10 a gigabyte.
No, I think I paid for the month like $45 or something like that.
Yeah, amazing.
Really,
yeah, because they cap it after 6. Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
It was awesome. Worked like, and I had bought a phone and a chip from a local vendor down in Brazil and got the same exact
out
of their equipment as Google Fi.
That's really good. Yeah, that's my travel phone now. I do take a T-Mobile phone, but every time I've tried it, Google Fi has always been faster.
It's highly recommended.
Good news. Thank you.
My Microsoft question. I have a regular job, and I've got a little side hustle going on, and the company I work for decided to switch from Gmail over to Office 365. I thought, great, whatever. Their recommendation was just install here, so I did that. Well, I had a personal account with Microsoft 365 on my computer. When I installed the professional version on my computer, the two of them were not compatible.
Yeah.
It kind of took down the machine. I thought Microsoft would have stopped me from doing that.
One would think. I actually use both. We have a corporate Microsoft portal, and I use that for my office, and I also have a personal Microsoft account, and I had Office 365, the home version, but I stopped paying for that. I said, well, I can use the company Office, and they seem to coexist all right.
Here's my question. If I use the professional version of it, can my company see what I do on my PC?
No, well, I shouldn't say no, but generally not.
Yeah, that's my question. OneDrive seems to be connected, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah, because you're using the corporate OneDrive. I bet you they do have access to that.
I would think so, but when you look at Word, like Word files and Excel files, they now have their company name on them.
Yeah.
When I had my personal account on Office on my PC, it was, my name.
I'm not a lawyer. But I suspect here's what a lawyer would tell you. When you're using company resource, and the courts have upheld this year after year, when you're using company resources, whether it's a company computer, company internet, or even company software, they have every right to spy on everything you do and no obligation to tell you so. I think it's bad corporate policy not to have an internet policy that specifies that, but they're not required to. And technologies exist, certainly, for them to do that. Is it your personal computer?
It's a personal computer in my home office.
It's not company provided?
That's correct.
Okay. Yep. They are, in effect, providing the software because you're using your corporate account for the software. I don't know if they're spying on you. It's not automatic, but they could be. I don't know what's available to them, to be honest, through Office or rather Microsoft.
I can't figure it out either. I think I'm just going to go to Google Docs.
I will ask. So we have, of course, an IT guy, and he's a Microsoft partner and all that, and he's the guy who set that up. I'll ask him. I'll say, Russell, if I wanted to spy on all our employees using Microsoft 365, could I? I bet you there is a way because, of course, as you know, Word by default will save to OneDrive. You could say no, save locally, but that which is not to say that it work. I mean, technically, it's possible. Word could be, saving a hidden copy to OneDrive. I don't know if that's a switch that they give the IT guy. I don't know.
It's one of those things that's been keeping me up at night because if they see what I do, for my side hustle, that
they wouldn't like that.
No. Hey, I got one question for Sam next time he's on. So I've got a Ford plug-in hybrid.
Yep.
Love the car. Get about 25 miles out of it.
Awesome.
I thought I'd be really sharp one day. Go to the mall. I got my 20 miles to the mall, plugged it into EVgo.
Yeah.
And came back 3 hours later and had a $9 bill.
Yeah.
For 20.
Yeah. Yeah. They've raised those prices. It really is depressing. I haven't used EVgo, but I've heard through the grapevine that it's a little more expensive. That's a lot. That's almost gas prices.
Exactly. It was more than paying for the gas to go there. So I was just curious from him if he's seeing public charging come around.
I will ask him. Yeah. I will ask him. It's getting competitive. The good news is because Audi's building Electrify America, EVgo's getting some competition. I think maybe competition will help there. I hope so. Hey, thanks for the call. Great to talk to you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, hey, how are you today? Good to see you. Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, augmented reality, virtual reality, real reality. 8888 Ask Leo is my phone number. 888-827-5536. That's toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, well, just use Skype out or something like that and call that number. Since it's toll free in the U.S., shouldn't cost you anything. 888-827-5536. The website is techguylabs.com, and I mentioned that because it's free. There's no sign up, and everything I talk about, all the links, everything will be there. techguylabs.com. Line 3, Joe in Clearwater, Florida. Hello, Joe.
Hey, how's it going?
It's great. How are you?
Oh, I'm having fun.
Good.
Yay.
Woohoo.
I just had a quick question. When I'm on my phone and on my tablet, if I go to Google anything, whether it's from the search bar or if I'm trying to go to a web page, if I'm trying to Google and I have my VPN activated, I get stuck in an endless CAPTCHA loop.
Ooh.
If I switch to Bing, I don't have that problem.
That's interesting. I wonder if Google is... So those CAPTCHAs are because Google's trying to make sure you're not a robot, somehow trying to skim their stuff. I hate CAPTCHA, but I'm told by many people with websites and stuff that it's just such a problem, these bots on the internet, that they have to try to prove you're not a computer, that you're a real human being. That's what those CAPTCHAs are for. Which CAPTCHA do you get? You get the one where you got streets and cars and stuff, and you have
streets, cars.
I hate that one.
Traffic lights, all that stuff.
You know why I hate that?
If I turn my VPN off, I don't have the problem.
Yeah. So the reason you're getting that is because Google knows where you are. Oh, that's Joe in Clearwater, because you're logged in. If you log into your Gmail account, then your browser stays logged in. So Google knows it's Joe. They're saying, but Joe, for some reason, seems to be appearing from somewhere else. I'm a little concerned. This is somebody posing as Joe. So Google has somehow decided that there's a security issue here, or that a bot might be using it. Maybe that VPN provider you're using had a problem in the past and those IP addresses aren't approved. You actually be interested to try a different VPN to see if you... I've never gotten that, by the way. So it might be that particular VPN provider, you know.
I've switched through... This is like the third one.
And same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's not the provider. It's just Google wanting to make sure that you are you.
Okay.
It says, this is the thing to remember. Google knows everything. And so Google says, well, Joe's not in Clearwater right now. He's somewhere, in, who knows, Croatia. Why is that? Let's make sure it's Joe.
Okay. Can I ask you one more question?
Sure, yeah, but actually, wait a minute. Before we do, Scooter X, our chat provider, has given me any way to reduce Google CAPTCHA annoyances for people using VPNs. This is a Reddit thread. Cloudflare recommends an extension if you're using Chrome. Are you using Chrome?
It's usually on my phone and tablet.
Okay.
And those are both
Safari
products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chrome has a thing called Privacy Pass that might help. That's a Chrome extension. I'm just curious. Some people say that helps. When you use a VPN, do you go international? Do you use an international server or a local server?
Local within the U.S.
U.S. server, okay. Because I could totally see if you were in a different country, they'd get a little confused. Here's, somebody also I've never seen this one, but this is also from that Reddit thread. If instead of google.com, you use google.com/NCR.
NCR.
Yeah. I don't know what that stands for. Maybe no CAPTCHA. But apparently that's for using Google on VPN. Google.com/NCR. It's still a Google search. So that might be useful. And then finally, this is all from this great Reddit. Reddit can be very useful here. There's another link to using a SOX proxy that sometimes apparently will reduce CAPTCHAs. And I'll put that link in our show notes at techguylabs.com. It's to mulvod.net. Increased security SOX 5 proxies to reduce VPN CAPTCHA. Okay, so there's a few solutions. So what's your other question?
This one is, I have an old PC that died on me. It won't fire up. On that PC I had the Apple backup. What is it?
Time Machine.
No. It's a Windows machine, but you put your iPhone in to do the.
Oh, you had your iTunes in there, yeah.
iTunes, okay.
Yeah.
So the old PC, iTunes on there, it died. I have an old phone that I was using with it, an old iPhone, iPhone 8. It died.
Oh.
So that's what I got a new PC, got a new phone. But I haven't backed up. I haven't gone into iTunes with my new phone and my new PC because if I can get that old PC running, I want to get the information that was on the old phone.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, so one thing you might try, it may be that hard drive has degraded to the point it can't boot Windows, but that doesn't mean that particular iTunes backup is corrupted. That's just some data on the disk. Often when disks fail, the whole thing doesn't fail, just parts of it. So one thing you could do is open up the computer, take out the drive, put it in a USB, external enclosure. In fact, what I recommend is, and I tell people all the time about this, from Newer Tech, it's something called a USB drive adapter. It's like $40. It's designed to use bare drives, so you wouldn't want to use it long term, but it's enough to take a drive out of a computer, put it on this adapter, plug it into the computer, and see if you could see the data. Because you might be able to just take that iTunes backup right off, and then you could use iTunes to restore it.
Okay, this is most of what you said made sense, but I'm not.
We'll put it in the show notes again. Newer Tech is newertech.com, NEWERTECH.com. It's right on the front page. It's their kind of universal adapter for USB, and it's anytime you want to take a hard drive out of a computer.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
How do I do that? Yeah, I've never done that.
Is it a laptop or desktop?
It's a laptop.
Well, it depends on the laptop. Some laptops you can't. Some laptops you can, but it's hard. Most laptops, it's just a bunch of screws on the bottom. You loosen those, open it up, and there you'll see a laptop drive connected, and you can just disconnect it and use this adapter to read it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not expensive. A number of companies make these external adapters. Turns it into a USB drive. It's not a guarantee you'd be able to read it, but it as I said, it may just be that hard drive doesn't boot. So the computer can't start up, but it's fine where the iTunes stuff is stored.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just didn't want to put the new phone on a new iTunes and then.
Well, you can do that if you can get that old restore file moved over. Then you can just say set up the phone, go ahead, and if you can manage to get that old restore file over, put it in the iTunes. Then you could say, I want to restore my phone, and it'll say, well, I see these restore files. And with any luck, you'll see one of them will be the one from your old computer, and you can restore it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for calling. That's what I'm here for. 8888. Ask Leo the phone number, 888-827-5536. Old Gear in our chat room says, yeah, that Newer Tech adapter is fantastic. Works like a charm. The only downside, of course, and there's other companies that make these, it's a simple thing, is that you don't want to use it all the time. It's not an external drive enclosure. It doesn't protect the electronics. It's just for an emergency when you just want to look at that drive. And there's other companies that sell these. And you can, of course, always, for cheap, buy an external enclosure and put it in there. It's just that's a lot of work. The USB drive enclosures are very simple. Here's one on, we can put a link to this in the show notes, on Amazon from AGP Tech. Never heard of them. Looks very similar. $13.99. $13.99. How about that? 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We'll take more of your calls in just a little bit. TechGuyLabs.com. Yeah, this looks just like the newer tech. This is the key, right? In fact, that's exactly. So it's got a SATA connector, an IDE connector, laptop connector. So you can, and the thing that's different about laptop drives is they need power. That's why it's got a little power supply, because laptop drives need power. And then, oh, look, it even has like a little SATA tail and a little IDE, or that little power tail. So it's really set. You could, it's only USB 2.0. I think newer tech, I'm thinking newer tech has a USB 3.0. Let me just check. Universal drive adapter. Yeah, see, that's okay. So that might be worth paying a little more for, because this is USB 3. It's a little faster. Same idea. Looks exactly the same. Oh, look at this. That's cool. And they also offer now a silicone sleeve to put over the bare hard drive, which helps, because otherwise, when you're using this, the electronics are just hanging out there. Just sitting out there in the real world. That's cute. So for an extra $8 or $9, you can get a little rubber sleeve to put on the thing. I still wouldn't, don't leave it out all the time. This looks really similar to that AGP tech, as you can see. Maybe a little bit cleaner. But it's more expensive. It's like 3 times more. So your choice. It's the ultimate bare drive multi-tool. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. Back to the phones. Line 4, Eugene, Cartwright, Oklahoma. Hello, Eugene.
How you doing, Leo?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing good. I got a couple of easy questions for you. I think you're going to be handled pretty easy, but I can't seem to figure out myself.
Okay.
I have an Amazon Prime account. My wife and I share an Amazon Prime account. And on there, we have some medication that we have to order for our pet. And is there any way that I could get that set up to where Amazon would send that to me every month on a regular basis?
Oh, I wish. So here's the deal. There is something on Amazon worth looking into called Subscribe and Save. And I use it all the time, but not everything is available on Amazon Subscribe and Save. But that's exactly the premise of Subscribe and Save, is there's stuff you buy all the time automatically. And if you're lucky, that pet med will be available through Subscribe and Save. So go to your Amazon account and look at Subscribe and Save, and then search for pet meds. Generally, the stuff that you use again and again is there, but it seems to me that it's dependent on the company that makes the product, whether it'll be there. I get vitamins that way. Household goods like dishwasher detergent and clothing detergent and toothpaste and stuff like that. The thing is, that stuff I know I'm going to use. Toilet paper, I'm going to use at a kind of regular clip. And you set that up. And the nice thing about Subscribe and Save is you get discounts. And I think this is why sometimes companies don't do it, is Amazon offers 5 to 15% discounts depending on how much you're doing. And I think one of the reasons is they can ship it all in one big box. So we get a big box on the 15th of every month that's our Subscribe and Save items. I really like that. So that's one way to do it. There may be some sort of automation, that you could write a script of some kind. But I would start by looking at Subscribe and Save. That's the official Amazon approved way of doing it. The problem is not everything is on it. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm looking at right now. Y'all have to dig in a little deeper. I didn't know nothing about it.
Nobody knows it's there. I don't know. I feel like Amazon's ambivalent about it. The other thing is you kind of have to keep on it, because I'll get emails from Amazon every month saying, oh, that mouthwash, it's not Subscribe and Save anymore. We're taking it off, and we don't have anything to replace it or whatever.
Wow.
So,
okay.
I know. So I feel like it's a redheaded stepchild of Amazon. But it's worth it if you can find the product that you want and you're going to use it on a regular basis. But subscribe, like laundry detergent, it's great because I get it automatically, and you can say every month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, all the way up to 6 months. And they'll just ship it automatically, and the savings is significant, up to 15%. I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That sounds good. Yeah, the extra savings would be nice on it, because their medication is pretty expensive anyway.
I bet it is. Yeah.
On Amazon.
Yeah. But
okay, my next question.
Yeah. Go ahead. No.
No, well, my next question is probably going to be even easier than that one. My wife goes every now and then, and she'll make reservations because we do a lot of RV camping out, and she'll call it like a campsite somewhere like over in Arkansas or wherever, and we go camping over there.
Fun.
And sometimes when she makes the reservations, those reservations, because we share like our Google accounts, our email accounts and stuff, and on our calendars. And sometimes when she makes the email or makes the reservations at the campsite, that campsite reservations will show up on my Google Calendar, and sometimes it don't. Is there something that we're doing, or the campsite's doing?
Yeah,
or
it probably is. It's probably so a well set up web page. If they have calendar, and it says download the calendar, you get a download a .ics file, which is a calendar file. If you can get an ICS file, you can double click that, and it'll launch your calendar program and automatically enter it. But maybe they're not doing it right, so it really may be specific to the campground, whether their website is proper, has the right tools or not. Sometimes you do have to do stuff manually. I love it when it says add. There's a button that says add to calendar. If that works, that's awesome. Puts it right on the Google Calendar. Yeah, I love that.
Well, is there anything that my wife can do when she makes the reservation on my end to add it to the calendar?
Well, yeah. If you get the add to calendar button working and it launches your Google Calendar and adds it, she can invite you. So add your name, your email address, your Google Calendar email address. It's in the calendar entries. They'll say invite somebody, and we do this. My wife and I do this all the time. If she makes a restaurant reservation or appointment, she can then invite me, and it will show up on my calendar. I'll get an invitation, and I can accept it. And that's automatic. So that's a very nice feature. But in order for that to work, that campground has to do the right thing getting to your Google Calendar. So I can't fix that.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still in the campground end to do it.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, I found something on Amazon that's kind of interesting. They call recurring delivery. So,
okay.
Yeah, Google. This is something I did not know. See, Amazon's so big. Stuff. If you Google Amazon recurring delivery, it looks like you can set up a recurring delivery with, it looks like any Amazon product. It's recurring delivery at Amazon.com. Okay. Maybe it's only for business, but it looks like I don't know if it's separate from Subscribe and Save, but I see it as a Google result. So, and I see a drop down that says recurring delivery. Let me see if I can get recurring delivery of anything. Let's see, a Microsoft mouse. I run out of mice every month. Let me see if I can get that recurring delivery. It looks like I can. So maybe recurring delivery will work for anything.
Okay, so you just typed that into Google, recurring Amazon delivery?
Amazon recurring delivery, yeah. I don't know if it's going to work, but I would try the Subscribe and Save first because that's the 15% off deal, and that's worth it if you can get it.
Right, okay. Yeah, I do like the savings. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Leo.
My pleasure. I never heard of this recurring delivery. Amazon, they're amazing. Of course, it's Amazon's goal is for you never shop anywhere ever again. But Amazon, right? Just buy it from Amazon. And I don't think it's always the best price or anything, but sometimes just the convenience. You said you're an Amazon Prime member, so am I. We pay more than $100 a year for that privilege, but just knowing you're going to have 2-day delivery, and in my case, it depends where you live. I don't know if it'll work where you are, but in Cartwright, but in my area, Northern California, I can get everything tomorrow. 1-day delivery. Amazon said that's their plan. And once they get that in, I feel bad for the warehouse workers because those people are working hard. Now they have to work even faster. Once they get that in, I think Amazon's next hill to conquer is going to be same-day delivery. They're already doing that in some areas. Then there'd be no reason to go to Walmart, to go down to the brick and mortar, or go to Target. There'd be no reason. I'm going to get it later today. Why not just get it from Amazon? Bad news for brick and mortar stores. Walmart's trying to compete. They really are. They bought a company called Jet.com. It was created by a former Amazon guy who wanted to compete with Amazon. He couldn't quite do it on his own. Walmart bought him for hundreds of millions of dollars. They're trying to beat Amazon in its game. And in a way, I want to support them because you want competition. I don't want to put Amazon out of business, but I'd like to have Amazon and some other guys doing this. So actually, I put a bookmark on my browser for Walmart to remind me, check Walmart. Check Walmart. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More of your calls right after this. Our show today brought to you by a new advertiser I'm very happy to have on called Ahrefs. Now, this is a little confusing. It's spelled Ahrefs, and if you know HTML, you know what they're referring to, the href tag. Ahref is a great solution for anybody with a website, whether you work for a big brand or run your own small business, even if you do freelance work on websites. Getting traffic to come to your site's always a challenge. Ahrefs is an all-in-one SEO tool set that gives you really useful tools you need to help make your site rank better in Google. And it is doable. Now, there's a lot of SEO snake oil sold, but these tools are exactly what you need. Very affordable. For instance, competitive analysis. If you have a restaurant in town and other restaurants, when you search for, restaurants Petaluma and the other restaurants rank much higher than yours, what are they doing? Well, their competitive analysis shows you how they're getting traffic from Google, what it is that's driving traffic, and what you can do to drive similar traffic to your site. See the pages and content that send your competitors traffic. You can also find the keywords your competitors are ranking for and which backlinks are helping them rank. That's the information you need to replicate or improve on their strategies so you can compete. If you're not getting good search traffic, Ahrefs tools help you find topics worth creating pages or content on. You'll automatically build your traffic to your site. You can see estimated search volumes. You can gauge traffic potential. They have this great tool. It's called the Keywords Explorer. And if you are getting search traffic, data like their top pages report helps you find out which of your pages bring in the most traffic. There's more. This is a great set of tools. Check out the Ahrefs blog or the YouTube channel for free SEO tutorials. And for 7 days, you can try Ahrefs for only $7. $1 a day. A 7-day trial for only $7 at ahrefs.com. Ahrefs.com. We thank you, Ahrefs, for your support. refs.com. Ahrefs. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Shoppers are gearing up tomorrow and Tuesday, and in some cases Wednesday, the biggest shopping days of the year. What? It's July, Leo. Yeah. Amazon Prime Day starts tomorrow. It's 2 days. It's confusing. 48 hours. Amazon Prime deals are not always the best deals. You know that by now. I think people wised up. They look like, oh my gosh, I'm getting 5 box cutters for $1.98. That's a deal. And you buy the stuff and then you realize, well, that wasn't a good deal. So I'm going to recommend the wirecutter.com, which is they have a Prime Day site. They bring in their staff. It's like a war room. They're all pounding away for 2 whole days, taking away what they do, which is great, is they compare the deals on Prime Day with actual, prices at other stores and tell you, is this a good deal or not a good deal? They'll tell you what the best deals are too. So don't go into Prime Day unarmed. And by the way, I mentioned Walmart's trying to compete with Amazon. Amazon is not alone. Now there's going to be the big save, Walmart's big save sale. Prime Day is 48 hours. Walmart's big save day is 96 hours, 4 days. So you probably should check there too. If you're a real shopper, probably starting 3 a.m. tomorrow, you're going to be sitting there with your browser on 3 different windows firing up because Target is also doing deal days Monday and Tuesday. 40% off some furniture, 30% off small appliances and cookware, deals on toys, sporting goods, and bedding. I think this is not merely competition, but they figure, well, if people are online searching for deals, we should offer them some. eBay is doing crash sale on Monday. 50% off with free shipping. eBay says if Amazon crashes on Prime Day tomorrow, we'll be here. That's hysterical. Nordstrom. This is the middle of July is going to start to be the big shopping time of the year, right? Nordstrom's going to do a 2-week anniversary sale. They don't start till July 19th. That's bad because that means you might see a great clothing deal at Amazon or Walmart or Target and not know if you can get it better at Nordstrom. I am not going to participate in any of this. I'm going to put my head down, put them under the covers, and I'm not coming out till next weekend. That's it. That's final. Crazy shopping time. Is this, remember they used to, the old days, the merchants trying to, because the summertime is doldrums for retail. They would do something they call Christmas in July. Remember that? I guess it's Christmas in July, I guess, if you're a shopper. Eugene. Oh, we just talked to Eugene. Let's go to Michael, Westboro, Mass. Hi, Michael. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Yes, hello, Leo. Hi. I'm calling because I have a question about Windows 7.
Yes.
Which is going to be unsupported after some point next year.
Yep.
And what I'm wondering is, I know that means it won't receive updates anymore.
Yes.
But from the perspective of a non-tech savvy user, what will that mean for?
It means it's serious. Take it seriously. It's called end of support. It's January 14th next year. Mm-hmm. And you may remember, we made a big deal about this a couple of years ago with Windows XP, then Vista. This happens. Microsoft will generally not support an operating system more than around 10 years because, well, it makes sense. 10 years after it came out, it's time to, they want you to upgrade. It's a business. It's a business. Sure. It's expensive for them to keep updating it. So what Microsoft says is starting January 14th, no more this is the big one, no more security patches. So you can live without tech support probably. You can live without, updates to the operating system for features. But the security patches is the big deal because if they find a flaw, if hackers say, "Oh, we figured out how we can get into your computer just from you visiting a website or opening an email," Microsoft says you're out of luck. So it means after January 14th, it will get increasingly more dangerous to use Windows 7 online. Windows 7 will continue to work. It's not going to stop working. But it will be increasingly dangerous to use it online. If you didn't use it online, if you used your computer as a big calculator, it wouldn't be a big deal. The other problem is
use it for writing. Use Microsoft Word.
But remember, the minute you go online, it doesn't matter if you even go anywhere. You're at risk. Because there even are, in theory, viruses that can infect you just, floating by on the internet without you going anywhere. So if you're going to use a Windows 7 machine, unplug it from the internet. Take that, turn off the Wi-Fi, take the Ethernet plug out. But you can use it as a word processor. Absolutely, you can use the spreadsheets. You can use all the software. Browsers will be updated. Continue this if it's anything like XP. Microsoft or Google Chrome will continue to be updated. Firefox will continue to be updated for a little while, but even after a couple of years, they'll stop updating. Now, here's the good news. There are lots of solutions to this. You can keep using Windows 7, just don't go online with it. There are people still going online with Windows XP. It may not be the end of the world. In fact, there was a very serious XP flaw a couple of months ago in the Remote Access Protocol, RPC, and Microsoft fixed it. They deemed it so serious, they pushed it out. Now, the problem is most Windows XP users weren't checking for updates anymore, so nobody knows. But Microsoft did push out an update because they were so concerned. So maybe, we don't know, maybe they will if it's a really big deal. Your other option is when you can upgrade to Windows 10. Most of the time, if a machine runs Windows 7 well, if it's not more than, say, 8 or 9 years old, it probably run Windows 10 well. And you can either buy a Windows 10 copy. It's about $139. In many cases, people will be able to upgrade to Windows 10 for free. But it's so there's a number of ways to do this, and it's worth probably checking. If you ever put Windows 10 on that machine, remember they offered a free upgrade when Windows 10 first came out to Windows 7
I don't know if this machine would handle Windows 10. It's an IBM ThinkPad.
Wow. You might be able to get some money for that on eBay. That's cool.
A Pentium R.
Here's what you may want: a new computer, and that'll certainly come with Windows 10. The nice thing about this is the last time this is going to happen. Windows 10, Microsoft says, is the last version of Windows, and they will update it for free forever. So this is the last time you're going to have that problem. That would be a great candidate. That laptop would be a great candidate for putting Linux on if you feel a little ambitious. That's a free operating system that is every bit as good as Windows. It's just different. And so if you're really comfortable with Windows, you might say, well, this is weird.
From 1.5 gigs of RAM, would it handle it?
Yeah, in fact, that's the main reason why you wouldn't go to Windows 10. That's very scant RAM. On the other hand, there are versions of Linux like Xubuntu, Xubuntu, that run intentionally on low, slow, old machines like your ThinkPad. So that would be a way to keep that going. And those are secure. Those are up to date. So that's another way to do it. But it sounds like you're due for a new computer. If you were looking for an excuse, this is it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and you could put more RAM in that computer. The problem is if it's that low RAM, it's probably a very slow processor. The hard drives are slow. They're going to die soon anyway. A computer to replace that could cost $500-600 and be 10 times faster. So that's a tough decision, I understand. So upgrade, in some cases you can. There are all sorts of tricks to upgrade too, but it doesn't sound like that computer's worth upgrading. Either buy a new computer or put Linux on it. That's pretty much your choice. I would not recommend using it with Windows 7 on it. It's too dangerous. Just too dangerous. That's a night, but you know what? You might be able to get $100-200 for it on eBay because that's a classic. An IBM ThinkPad. Wow. You must have upgraded. That didn't come with Windows 7. You must have upgraded that too from.
It was upgraded. Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of up to you. That is a very old computer. Does it feel slow?
It still brings up Windows fairly quickly.
Wow. Well, yeah, if you just want to use it as a word processor, just don't plug it into the internet. I think that's a great choice. Those keyboards are the greatest keyboards ever made to this day.
That's what I've been made to understand. Yeah.
That's why there's a market for it. Those things are built like trucks. It's still running.
One other question.
Sure.
When you disinstall a program, like not an operating system, but a software, in addition to an operating system on a computer, does it free up all the space on the hard drive that it occupies?
No.
Or does it disinstall completely? Or
well, that's the problem with Windows. So if the program installed properly, it'll have an uninstall command. And in theory, that gets rid of 90% of it. None of the data you created with that program will be deleted. So that usually is more than the program, depending on the program. So all of those document files or movie files or music, whatever is associated with it, that stays. And sometimes they can't get rid of everything. The registry often still contains traces of the old program, but most of it will be gone. It's just the data that's going to be occupying space.
I see. All right, Leo, thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for calling. All right, keep listening. I want to thank you for joining me on the Tech Guy Show. I want to thank Big Pee-wee. He's our musical director. Does a good job, doesn't he? Also want to thank Kim Schaffer. She is answering the phones and does such a good job putting you on the air, grooming you, getting your cowlick in place for your appearance on national radio. But the most important part of this show is you. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you for listening, calling. Don't forget, our website is there for you all week long with all the information you need, plus audio and video from previous shows, techguylabs.com. Thank you for betting. Be myself. Line 2, Greg in Whittier, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey,
Leo,
Greg.
thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure. Thanks for calling.
Quick question. I own a sports performance and a fitness training center.
Nice.
And all of a sudden, I stream, KFI, I stream different music. I pay for Spotify Premium. I pay for Apple Music. All of a sudden, I started getting these emails and calls from BMI.
Uh-oh.
Are you familiar with BMI?
ASCAP BMI, I sure am. So we pay them KFI pays them. Our radio syndicator pays them license fees for the music. When you hear music, like you just did, the Sly and the Family Stone, Sly's going to get a penny or two through ASCAP BMI. That's the licensing arm. And that's a requirement. If you play music in your business, it's a requirement. See, you're paying for Spotify as a private consumer, but when you play music in your business, then you have to pay a different license fee for that. That's why Muzak exists.
Muzak.
Yeah, so Muzak and the Muzak salesman will come around, I'm sure, right after you get the ASCAP BMI letter. Now, I can't promise you it's not a scam, but no, this is real. ASCAP BMI is real. This is music licensing, and businesses get this all the time. Usually you can get away with it. I mean, when I go into businesses, I hear them playing Pandora all the time. But
exactly, yes.
Yeah, but technically you are required to license. You know, we make a podcast of this radio show, and we don't put the music in because even though the radio show pays the license fees, that covers play on the radio, but it doesn't cover distribution over the internet in a podcast. And so we would have to pay additional fees to use the music in the podcast, stuff like that.
Okay, so you said Muzak, and then my next part to that question is, how are they tracking me? How would they even know? They have secret shoppers going around. Really?
Yeah. And it may very well be. We don't know. Remember, Spotify survives, Pandora survives, Google Play and Apple Music all survive at the pleasure of the music industry. And one of the things the music industry, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised, one of the things the music industry may do is say, well, I need to know every business that's playing Spotify. So here's the thing. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they're finding out. They literally do send people around. If you Google ASCAP BMI, those are the two licensing groups, Broadcast Music Incorporated, that's BMI, and the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, that's ASCAP. You'll find a page on ASCAP, for instance, I'm interested in playing music in my business. Do I need permission? What do I do? Are there licenses? And there are services. Muzak is just one of them, M-U-Z-A-K, but that's why Muzak exists. There are services that will do this, that will give you business music, and they pay the license fee, but you'll have to pay for the music. It's not as simple as paying for Spotify or Pandora.
How about when I stream KFI and I listen to you, or I listen to KFI?
Same thing. Well, you can listen to me all you want. Thank you. I will not charge you.
Every weekend.
I will not charge you. And in fact,
thank you.
The real interesting thing is, technically, I think the music, the little bit of music you hear on this show, technically would be licensed, but I think probably you're in the clear if you're playing talk radio. They call it the public performance right. And,
got you. Okay.
And so you're doing, in effect, a public performance. So... I would Google this because this is legitimate.
Okay.
There is a fee technically you have to pay for. This is why companies like Muzak exist, to give you rights to play music in your business. Everybody does it. And so you did it for a while and you didn't get caught. The thing I'd worry about is getting a bill. Like, well, we know you've been doing this for the last 16 years. That'll be $10,000, please. So I don't know exactly. I'm no expert on this. Consult your legal advisor or Google it. The rates depend on the size, the number of people, number of customers, how you're playing the music, and so forth. I'm looking at an ASCAP site that says the fee for restaurants and bars minimum is $380 a year. For a retail establishment, $246 a year. BMI is about the same. They're not the only licensing arms, though. There's CSAC, there's GMR, there's other companies as well. And so what you might look at is something like Muzak. Soundtrack is another company. Soundtrack does ASCAP and BMI licensed music for businesses. There are a lot of other choices. In fact, soundtrackyourbrand.com might be the place to go. This is music designed for business, and it's a little hipper than Muzak. I feel like it's probably worth figuring out it's a few $100 a year. It's really worth figuring out because what you don't want is this big bill. They say, well, we know you've been doing all this time. It's not a scam, at least in general. I don't know if that particular email or mail was. Lynn in Thousand Oaks, California. Hi, Lynn. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi there.
Hey.
I have a Wi-Fi that goes on and off.
Okay.
And I don't know why.
Well, I don't either.
Okay.
But
what could it be?
I can make some suggestions.
I don't know anything about it. My daughter.
Well, when you reboot your router, does that fix it? Does it fix it?
It might take 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
And eventually it does. Yeah.
So maybe your router is worn out and it's time to get a new one. How old's that router?
Less than a year.
That's probably.
I got the one that you suggested.
It's probably not worn out. It may be interference from your neighbors. People don't know this about Wi-Fi. I didn't know it for a long time. Somebody explained to me that Wi-Fi is weird because, as you know, there's lots of other Wi-Fi signals. Do you see your neighbors?
I noticed, yes, I do. They pop up, and then it's asking me which one I want to join.
Yeah, join yours, obviously.
Automatically joining it.
Yeah. So
and then it says. Then when I put the one that's mine, it says I don't have the right password.
Oh, well, please use the right password.
Well,
if you have a router that's tri-band or dual band that lets you use 5G, often that will help. If you use the 5G frequency. Here's what's happening. Your neighbors are interfering with you. When Wi-Fi sees other people using a signal, even your own within your own house, and nowadays we all have lots of devices, it'll say, oh, hold on, I'm sorry, I didn't see you talking, and it'll pause, let the other command execute, and then pick it up. So, for instance, when we do Skype calls on our show and our podcast, we tell people don't use Wi-Fi because it'll every once in a while hesitate. Use wired. But it sounds like yours is just failing entirely.
It is.
Yeah.
The little green button, shows Wi-Fi.
One thing you could do. So if you forgot your password, how are you using it?
Well, sometimes I don't have to put it in. I didn't.
I would start over.
But it didn't work.
Might be a good time to start over. Reset your router. There's a button in the back you can press and hold to reset it. Set it up again, new passwords and everything, to see if that fixes it. Because that's another issue entirely. And if it doesn't, well, it could be interference from your neighbors. There are a lot of things it could be. It's complicated. Hey, thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry we're out of time. The website, techguylabs.com. I'm at the Twit Podcast Network all week long, twit.tv. And I will be back here next week. I hope you will too. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.